Hey there, Life Skills fam. Welcome back to the Life Skills Hub and our series Decisions Matter. Today, we're diving into a topic that's not only fascinating, but also incredibly important: your brain, specifically the adolescent brain. We're going to explore how your brain develops, why teens often act on impulse or emotion, how it's like a tree. Yes, really, and why thinking about consequences is so important. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's get started. First things first, did you know that your brain is still under construction during your teen years? Yep, it's growing, changing, and adapting to help you become the amazing adult you're meant to be. Think of it as a major renovation project with new features being added and old ones getting polished. Here's the scoop. Your brain doesn't fully mature until your mid-20s to early 30s. And fun fact, guys, your brains tend to develop a bit slower than the ladies. No shade, just science. During adolescence, your prefrontal cortex, the area right behind your forehead, is still developing. Think of this part as the CEO of your decision-making department. It handles planning, self-control, and thinking ahead. But since it's still hiring staff, it's not fully operational yet. Meanwhile, your limbic system, located in the center of your brain, is working overtime. This area controls the emotional, reward-seeking part of your brain that is running at full speed. This area is like the party animal of your brain, always chasing thrills and excitement without worrying much about the consequences. Imagine it looks like a pair of early 2000s behind-the-neck headphones. The round ear cups align with the amygdala and hippocampus, which are critical components of this system. And no, it's not like a hippopotamus, even though both can make a big splash in your life. So, why do teens act on impulse? Your brain is essentially running a group project. One part, the prefrontal cortex, is hustling to make careful, logical decisions, while the other part, the limbic system, is chilling and yelling YOLO during every exciting moment. Here's why emotions and impulses often take the driver's seat. For one, the reward center, aka your limbic system, lights up like a fireworks show whenever you experience something thrilling or risky, whether it's pulling off a daring stunt, riding a roller coaster, acing a test, or winning a game. It makes these moments feel extra rewarding. The logic center, aka your prefrontal cortex, is like a new app still in development. It works, but isn't as quick or reliable as it will be after a few updates. This is why it's harder to hit the brakes and think about long-term consequences. Here's an example. Imagine your brain is like a supercharged sports car, fast, exciting, and full of potential. But here's the thing, the steering wheel, your prefrontal cortex, isn't fully developed yet, and the brakes, your ability to mentally slow down and think before acting, don't always work smoothly. Picture this scenario. The limbic system is the gas pedal. Your limbic system floors the gas pedal. It's shouting, let's go as fast as possible. This is so thrilling. It's all about the immediate thrill and excitement, ignoring the risks ahead. The prefrontal cortex is the steering wheel and brakes. Your prefrontal cortex tries to keep things under control, saying, wait, slow down. What if the light turns red? What if there's a cop? You could crash. But since it's still developing in your teen years, it's not as strong or quick to react. Sometimes it struggles to steer you in the right direction or press the brakes in time. The result? If the limbic system wins, you might speed through the stoplights, hoping for the best, but risking a ticket or worse, a crash. If your prefrontal cortex takes over, you'll slow down, check the lights, and stop when necessary, making your journey smoother and safer. Let's get into risk-taking and nature's plan. Your adolescent brain is wired for adventure and exploration. It's nature's way of encouraging you to try new things and learn from experiences. But because your steering wheel and brakes aren't fully developed yet, it's easier to act on impulse without considering the consequences. This is why pausing to think, just like slowing down for a yellow light, is so important. It gives your brain time to process and decide if your next move is safe or if you need to hit the brakes. Here's another interactive question. Have you ever made a quick decision without thinking about the consequences, like racing through the lights? How might things have turned out differently if you had hit the brakes? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're learning to become a better driver of your brain. Okay, now for my favorite part, comparing your brain to a tree. Here's how it works. When you're born, your brain has tons of tiny branches. These are the connections between brain cells or neurons. As you grow, your brain starts pruning away the branches it doesn't use, just like a gardener trims a tree to help it grow stronger. This process, called synaptic pruning, is all about use it or lose it. If you spend time learning new skills, like playing an instrument, learning a new sport, playing a new game, reading, or solving puzzles, those branches grow thicker and stronger. But if you don't use certain skills or knowledge, those branches might wither and fall away. Also, bad decisions, like using drugs or making risky choices, can also affect this pruning process. These choices can slow down your brain's ability to grow and develop healthy connections, making it harder to learn, focus, and make good decisions in the future. Let's get to some examples. Imagine you're learning to play the guitar. Every time you practice, you're watering and nurturing that branch. But if you stop playing for a year, that branch might shrink, making it harder to pick up where you left off. Here's another example. Imagine you're playing a sport like basketball. Every time you practice and play, you're strengthening that branch in your brain, building skills like coordination, strategy, and teamwork. But let's say you get injured and have to take time off. When you come back, it might take a while to get back to the level you were at before, and you might even need to work harder to surpass that level. This is because your brain needs time to regrow those connections that might have weakened during the injury. It's like the tree branch that was trimmed back, but can come back stronger than before with the right care. Now, imagine someone starts smoking weed during their teenage years. While it might feel like a quick escape or a way to fit in, it can have a lasting impact on brain development. Smoking weed can weaken the connections in the brain, or even cause pruning to happen too early. This means the brain's ability to grow and strengthen certain skills like memory, focus, and decision-making can be slowed down. The result is a developmental gap that can stay with a person for the rest of their life, making it harder to perform at their best. It's like a branch that gets cut off too soon before it has a chance to grow fully. Here's an interactive question. What's one branch in your brain that you're growing right now? Maybe it's a hobby, a sport, or even learning a new subject at school. Share in the comments. Why do we need to think about consequences? Why are they important? Let's talk about it. Every choice you make has a consequence, whether it's good or bad. This ties back to what we talked about in our last video, the ripple effect. Here's the thing. Because your prefrontal cortex is still growing, it's easy to focus on the here and now without thinking too far ahead. But every choice you make, even the small ones, creates ripples that can impact your future. For example, imagine skipping your homework or not studying for a big test to hang out with friends. In the moment, it feels fun. But later, when you're struggling with your grades, you might realize how that one decision created ripples. Let's go back to the tree analogy. Thinking about consequences is like growing strong roots for your tree. If you consistently make thoughtful decisions, you're building a solid foundation that will help you stand tall, even during life storms. But if you act impulsively without thinking about the ripple effect, it's like weakening your roots, making it harder to stay grounded. So how do you grow your brain like a strong, healthy tree? Here are some tips. 1. Challenge yourself. Try new activities or hobbies to grow new branches in your brain. 2. Stay curious. Ask questions, explore, and never stop learning. 3. Think before you act. Pause and consider the ripple effect of your choices. That pause can give you just enough time to carefully choose the best option. Finally, take care of yourself. Good sleep, healthy food, and exercise are like sunlight, water, and nutrients for your brain tree. In this video, we learned that your brain is still growing and developing during your teen years. Think of it like a tree. Your brain is adding new branches and pruning, the ones that aren't used. The choices you make now affect how your brain develops. If you make smart decisions, like learning new things and staying healthy, you're strengthening your brain. But bad decisions, like using drugs or acting impulsively, can hurt your brain's growth and even cause your brain to prune too early, which can affect you for the rest of your life. In the next video, we'll dive even deeper into the brain decision-making method to tackle choices step by step. Thanks for joining me today on the Life Skills Hub. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, your decisions matter. See you soon.